Welcome to the Rich Report, a podcast with news and information on the world of startups. Today, my guests are from the Startup Riot. This is an event in Atlanta. We're here with the founder of the event, Sanjay Parikh, and of course, we have the winner as well of this year's event, Lauren Miller from Excelegrade. So, Sanjay, let's start with you. This event has been going on for a while now, hasn't it?
Yeah. So we actually started in 2008 with Startup Riot. This was the sixth annual event here in Atlanta. We've actually done two more events in Seattle as well. So, by sheer numbers, this is the eighth one, but this is the sixth annual one in Atlanta.
And the Seattle thing, did that grow organically out of it through connections in the town, or how did that happen?
No, that was actually, just me looking for other ways to help more entrepreneurs and looking at some of the issues that they've got going on in Seattle and they had going on in Seattle, very similar to Atlanta. And I thought it would be a good place for us to put some roots down and see if we can help some more entrepreneurs every year.
Okay, thanks, Sanjay. So, Lauren, I'd like to hear from you as the winner. Why don't you tell us from the beginning who is Excelegrade and who do you help?
No, absolutely. So Excelegrade provides an end-to-end digital assessment solution that aims to make classrooms paperless. So at a very tactical level, we aim to replace paper-based assessments and assignments in classes with assessments and assignments on mobile devices. So unlike many other digital assessment solutions, we take teachers all the way from the content they need to create an assessment. So we have a question bank, for example, and we take them all the way to the point where they have the data from that assessment and make automatic recommendations for remediation based on student performance. So we automatically point them to the right Khan Academy videos or the right Brain Pop videos or the right online games. That's what it is that we do.
And does this live in the cloud and they talk to it that way, or how does it work?
Yes, it's a completely cloud-based platform. We have iOS apps, Android apps, and then a web-based portion. So we're 100% hardware agnostic. Whatever device you have in the classroom you can use, whether that be a smartphone, a tablet, a laptop, or just a regular computer.
Terrific. But does the teacher need to be a C programmer or something to be able to deploy this?
No, not at all, actually. We aim to make it really easy for the teacher. So we think that the UI is pretty intuitive. Teachers are able to go in and choose questions. They just choose which ones they want. They can choose the point value, for example, whether they're free response or multiple choice. They send that assessment or assignment out to students, and then we grade the multiple choice questions automatically. And the free response questions show up on their screen so they can give partial credit. And all of the rest of the back-end data analytics that teachers would normally have to do to figure out where a student's strengths and weaknesses are, we do that for them and make it really easy.
Yeah. And then how are the students reacting to this? Do they like the technology?
So it's interesting. We actually have to do more training for the teachers than we do for the students. So when I went into my first classroom to actually watch this in action, it's funny, we were walking the students through how the whole process worked. And about halfway through, one of the students raised their hand and said, "We already know this. We don't need you to tell us." And so the teacher was like, "Okay, well, we'll use this extra time for me." Because, students are so used to using technology outside of class. It's almost as if when you walk into a school, you walk into a bit of an antiquated society because the devices are used so much outside of school that it just makes sense to bring them inside of the classroom. And, of course, we want to bring them in a disciplined way so that it doesn't interfere with learning. But I think that there's a lot that we can do with technology to really push learning forward in a way that hasn't been done before.
Yeah, yeah. So is this like for the iOS platform and Android tablets, those kinds of things?
Yes, exactly. And right now we only have iOS and Android apps, but we have a web-based portion as well. So whatever device you have, you can go online and use that web-based portion.
Excellent. So what happens when you win? Do you get seed funding or a shot at some VCs? What happens next?
So it's interesting because I was talking to someone, I think yesterday, and they were saying, "Well, what all do you win?" And I could remember some of the things, but I almost felt like I I've won everything already, just because of all of the things that just happened organically after Startup Riot. So even, getting media coverage, having investors there that you actually get their attention for 3 minutes to pitch them, enough so that they say afterwards, hey, I would love to talk to you. All of those things are really big deals for startups, where every little small thing that you can get to build that momentum for your company really matters. So I know that, of course, when we win, we get the VC calls and we get different services that are really, really meaningful. But for me, even if I didn't get any of those prizes, I feel like what I've gotten thus far has been more than enough to make the whole experience worthwhile.
Well, terrific. And what did you think of your competition? Was there some tough competitors out there that you beat out on this competition?
I definitely think so. I was just talking to all of the folks backstage, and we've actually been emailing a few of us post Startup Riot about how great each other's companies are. And so some of us are actually hoping to get together and chat more over lunch, et cetera. It's funny, the second place winner, or maybe the third place winner, 10-8 app, he and I were like right next to each other in presentation order, and we really, really hit it off. So I think that we'll probably have a relationship moving into the future. So,
and you know what? That hearing that kind of story gives me a little bit of goosebumps, because that's really kind of the point of Startup Riot, creating that serendipity and people doing things together. And it's funny because I didn't know anything about any of this stuff that you guys were getting together to have lunch and all that stuff. That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah, yeah. So, is Sanjay, is this an annual deal, the Startup Riot in Atlanta, or how often?
Yeah. I can only manage doing this once a year.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a lot of work, with the number of people that we have at the event and everything. And, you were asking about the prizes. So Lauren's going to get 5.5 hours worth of investor meetings. So that's 11 30-minute meetings with top VCs and investors. I can only call in those favors so many times. So I can't do this that often. And so, I try to cultivate kind of all my relationships and these guys all agree, these guys and gals actually all agree to meet with somebody that they don't even know who they're going to be. They don't know what industry they're going to be or anything else like that, but it's all based on my relationships with them. And they know that, they're going to get somebody quality. And clearly in this case, they got somebody that was quality. And honestly, everybody that presented was great. But Lauren just, knocked it out of the park there.
Well, congratulations, Lauren. I think this sounds like a terrific startup. I love pitches, but this one especially sounds terrific.
Thank you.
Yeah,
so
I
much.
mean, and one of the things that we do, because I'm an entrepreneur myself, and this whole event is organized around the idea of, can we make this better for people, for the presenters. And so we do a lot of things that they don't do at other conferences. We screen every single attendee that comes to the event, and we don't allow the service providers, the lawyers, the accountants, the recruiters, the consultants, all those people that sell stuff to entrepreneurs, we don't let them come unless they're a sponsor of the event. And so our event is artificially smaller than most other events out there, but the quality of the people is a lot higher. And hopefully Lauren can speak to that as well, because hopefully she can say that everybody she met was somebody useful and somebody valuable for her during the day.
No, I can definitely speak to that. It's funny that you say that, because right next to me is a stack of literally 55 business cards that I need to go through and follow up with those people, because everybody that I met, I need to follow up with them for one reason or another. I met 3 people that said, oh, I would be interested in being a part of the team potentially. I met 2 parents that said, hey, I'm on my PTA. I'd love to bring you in to talk to the PTA about
awesome.
it, because parents can spread the word, and we're always looking for what we can do. I mean, I met several investors and just so many different people that all of the relationships are really worthwhile. Like, I felt like all of the relationships were very high-quality relationships, rather than relationships where you say, I'm not sure whether I actually follow up with this person, or, I don't know right now how this could benefit us. Even though a lot of times those relationships actually end up being very worthwhile as well. It's just great to have so many relationships where you see the immediate benefit from meeting with someone.
Yeah, yeah. So Lauren, I guess kind of a wrap up here. What would your advice be for someone in the Atlanta area that's got that idea for a business or has something going? Well, what would you tell them?
So I would tell them a few things. One, I would say definitely do Startup Riot. But I would say before you even get ready to do Startup Riot, find a couple of people that you can trust that are willing to, take a risk and spend some time with you. That's what I found, a couple of advisors that were willing to do that for me, and really walk through your business with them and get the feedback that a lot of times we as entrepreneurs don't get unless we really sit down with someone and say, hey, be honest with me, try to poke holes in this and help me refine this, because I think that was really, really valuable. And then as far as Startup Riot is concerned, I would say go into Startup Riot actually, wanting to win, wanting to deliver the best pitch that you can, but really not being as concerned about the outcome and being more concerned about the process. Because there were so many things throughout the day just watching other presenters present that I said, I could do that better in my pitch. Or the way that they said that really connected with the audience and we could connect better. Or the way that they have their table set up really conveys what their value proposition is, and ours might not be as clear. So I would tell them to not just also the entire process.
Yeah, yeah. It sounds like the journey is very worthwhile. Whatever the outcome. So,
Exactly.
yeah, yeah,
And to make one point is that this is not just about Atlanta startups. It's awesome that an Atlanta startup won,
yeah.
but our second place winner was from Indiana.
Oh,
And we've had startups from all over. We've had startups as far away as Australia and London and France fly in to present at Startup Riot. We don't focus just on Atlanta. We focus on entrepreneurs.
all right. Well, I'd like to thank you both for coming on the show today. And I guess that's it for the Rich Report. Stay tuned for more news and information on the world of startups.